Hi guys, Spontaneity here. I'm the Ingenuity person.
I'm Spontaneous One.
We're back at it with another D&D video.
Uh, we mentioned last time, doesn't matter if you watched the last video or not, it really doesn't tie into it, about the Peasant Cannon. We said we would talk about it. It'd be literally the next video. This is the next video, I think, unless we messed up.
Hopefully we didn't mess up.
If we did, you know what? You can laugh at us all you want. Mm-hmm. So, before we really get into a Peasant Cannon, and like our opinions about it, what it's actually known for, and all the different stuff, we gotta talk about Rule 0. Rule 0, I don't know if it's an actual handbook or not, but it's what the D&D community says is the first rule of D&D, the most important rule of D&D. What the DM says goes.
It's kind of, I think the idea of Rule 0 more or less came from the idea of playing Magic, as it is whatever the table says is what goes.
Yeah, so if you agree upon something or the DM says it's okay, then it's okay. Even if it's something that works in D&D, if the DM doesn't want it, it doesn't go. Mm-hmm. There are DMs that say you can't play certain classes or certain races or have certain backgrounds. That's because it's a part of the story. That is what the DM says, and it goes.
I've met some DMs that, like, I think it's called a hex blood or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't allow that in their class because they feel like it's broken.
And some people don't use, like, it starts with an M.
Mystic.
A Mystic. Which, I don't know if it's officially in the game anymore. Has it been taken out?
It's been officially taken out. Unfortunately.
I love it. It's, like, my favorite class. But
I still use the class.
You can Rule 0 it in, Rule 0 it out. That is up to the DM. So, now that we've gotten the basics out of the way, Peasant Cannon. I've recently heard Peasant Railgun, but I prefer Cannon because
it's easier to say.
And also D&D is supposed to be kind of old-timey. Mm-hmm. So, Peasant Cannon. It is where you have a little bit of real-life physics into D&D. And you need a couple of things before you can even start building the Peasant Cannon. First thing you need is a DM who okays it, or a DM that's never heard of it. He's laughing because it makes sense. If you have a DM who's never heard of it, you set it up and then do it, they will be baffled, and then they might say yes or no. Or you can do the smart thing and the respectful thing and ask, DM, would you allow us to use the Peasant Cannon? Mm-hmm. And most of the time, if they've never seen it, they might say yes. Personally, my rule of thumb is you get one Peasant Cannon. But you gotta convince the peasants.
That's gonna be a lot of charisma checks.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Especially whenever he starts getting on his rant about peasant cannons. Mm-hmm. But that'll be in a while. Mm-hmm. So, starting off, you have to either convince your DM or kind of sneak it by them. And DMs can say no at any point. Mm-hmm. If you do the action, your DM's like, this is more powerful than I thought it is. No. That sucks, but it's how it would go. Mm-hmm. Hopefully at that point, they're okay with it. Mm-hmm. So that is like the first condition you have to make right there. Second one, Peasant Cannons basically you have a bunch of peasants who set up their reactions to pass a object forward. Most people say like a stone or a...
They're saying their action, their action is ready.
Yeah, say ready action. Yeah, thank you for the wording. To pass a object forward. Most people say a stone. I think a cannonball can be funny.
It can be anything that could be considered an improvised weapon. Mm-hmm.
A shard of glass, a dead goblin. We looked that up recently.
Literally. A table leg, a wagon wheel.
A wagon. I think the dead goblin's the funniest one. That you could...
BBEG.
If it's a dead goblin.
If it's a dead goblin.
And you basically have a bunch of people in a line. Most people say like 500, 1,000, 2,000. I prefer going distance because if each person takes up 5 feet, 2 miles is like 1,000 people.
Oh, that's a lot more than that.
Yeah. So you have that.
That's at least 10,000 people.
No, because
a mile is 5,280 feet.
So 5,000 divided by 5 is 1,000. So you need like...
Did I say 10,000?
2,000, yes. You need like 2,500 people to meet 2 miles, which is fine. That's just fine. That's a village. That's more of a kingdom. But depending on what you're doing,
That's
it could be a lot of fun. It could be a lot of fun. You have them all set up, and you have a peasant or whoever you want to be in the front. I usually do a party member, depending on what's happening, because a party member will probably throw it more accurately.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure the last part of that is they're supposed to be able to cast Catapult.
That is if you want to make it magical.
I guess. Okay.
That is also something very funny that we're going to add on after his spiel. Mm-hmm. Ways to modify the Peasant Cannon. So, then, basically the last person you have hands the last person in the line the object, and then it moves all the way through the people to the first person, and that person just chucks it. Mm-hmm. Making an improvised weapon throw, which, depending on how how real life you want to get it, depends on how crazy this gets.
Which we'll get into.
Now, some more aspects of this, so you kind of understand why it's crazy. 1 round is 6 seconds. So in combat, it's 6 seconds.
So if we're going to go with the distance method, you're going
2 miles in 6 seconds. Glorious. I'm going to tell you right now, 2 miles in 6 seconds is right around Mach 12. You're going 12 times the speed of sound. That is insane.
That's great.
We don't have weapons. I think the fastest object to ever move that we've ever created went Mach 20, supposedly, and that was a manhole cover that took the blast of a nuke.
I think the fastest, even the Flash can go is what, Mach 10?
That depends. Okay. This is a little off of D&D. So, the Flash, depending on comic book, movie, and TV show, depending on the comic book, there has been an instance where the Flash has moved faster than instant teleportation. And some comic book writers have said that the Flash's speed is based off the kinetic energy of his surroundings. So you could then potentially say if there's no kinetic energy around him, he has 0. You could say it's purely based off of speed force, which then gets really hard. So there are some versions of the Flash this thing can go faster than. The story with the manhole cover, for a little bit of a history lesson, we were testing nukes. This was before we nuked Japan.
Not that we are insensitive about that.
And so there was a vent where all the heat and energy was supposed to go out of, and all the different debris and stuff, because they were testing this underground so no one could see it. So they decided to weld a manhole cover on the top of it to keep it down so they could just have it in there, all the smoke and stuff, and they detonated a nuke. It turns out that welded metal doesn't really stop that much energy.
Didn't hold up.
And in I think it was 200 frames per second film, it got caught in 1 frame. Meaning it was traveling faster than that, 200.
That's fast.
It was moving faster than 200ths of a second. Meaning it was going at minimum Mach 20. And with what we just said, it can go Mach 12. Just for perspective. It's great.
A jet, what's the fastest a jet can go? Mach?
The fastest one we currently have, as of my knowledge of early 2023, is Mach 8.6, which is the I can't think what it is. It's slipping my mind. You can find the video on the Fat Electrician and probably a bunch of other people. It's really cool. Our military does some crazy things. Mm-hmm. I can tell you the story. I really can't think what it's called. It's it could be it's not the U-2 bomber. It's not a bomber, it's a spy plane. No, it's the U-2 spy plane. I'm almost positive that's the fastest thing we can, our fastest aircraft is the U-2 spy plane. It's fast. it goes so fast the metal actually is not fitted until it goes to full speed because it gets so hot that it expands. And also the fuel inside of it is non-flammable. Which I don't know how you can make fuel non-flammable. You gotta ask Shell. Whatever. Back to D&D.
Yes.
I know way too much random information. So, do you want to go on about the problems with the cannon?
So before we get into the problem with the cannon, so if the DM does allow it, but he's gonna go by book and no
physics.
No physics. The most this is actually going to do is 1d4.
Yes. Now,
unless you have like, if you could
cast catapult or enlarge or
you
something.
have each person have like glyph of warding on their hand and then something on top of that as they touch
oh my gosh,
the rock or whatever, your dead goblin. That could do stuff.
Yeah.
But if we're going to go to the physics thing part of this and your DM allows it, the problems with this is let's just talk about damage. The damage this could do. So I was trying to figure out how much damage. So an improvised weapon does 1d4.
Yeah.
And you're going to
your dead goblin.
Your dead goblin.
Or cannonball or rock or whatever.
It's going to be going 2 miles. 2 miles in 6 seconds, going through people passing it. So
probably by person 20.
By person 7. The people that are passing them...
It's going to start breaking their arms and then start losing their arms and then start dying.
They literally start combusting.
Because the amount of energy.
The damage to equate for that would be a d4 by turn person 1. Person 2 would be a d4 squared. Person 3, it's a d4 squared.
Oh. That would be... 4 square.
Sure. And then it compounds. It's exponentially.
Mm-hmm.
So you won't have enough dice.
Yeah. But it dies. Unless you misfire. The last person to throw nat ones. That's where personally you want to have a strong character throw it. Because I classify this as a siege weapon. Because the only potential thing that can live is like a mountain.
The mountain's gone.
Depending on how far it is. 2 miles, yes, mountain's gone.
Well, think about it.
If you hit a planet, the planet's gone.
That much energy being passed through people.
We're FMAing this.
They're literally dead.
We're going to FMA this. Force equals mass times acceleration. If you have a mass of 1 pound, you have a 1 pound rock. And you accelerate it to... Mach stupid. The damage is gonna be stupid.
Like,
I'm not wrong.
If the person fails at the end, I'm not even sure if the person has to fail. The damage would be that of like an atomic bomb,
or worse.
at least.
So much worse.
If you minimum damage on each roll.
And now it's time to tell you how to make it worse. So there's some very fun spells in D&D. Number 1, which baffles my mind, that technically this is non-magical damage. So, if you're doing this to like a Nelfishnay, or a bunch of different like creatures who are resistant or immune to non-magical damage, it won't do full damage. Now, if they're resistant, they're gonna die. Because it's just too much damage. If you're immune to non-magical damage... You're gonna live. You can live the power of the sun. Then if you like cast catapult, and the last person does it,
because they're gonna be obliterated by force. If we do physics part of it.
Yes, technically, this is where we get into the really hard stuff. Because if it's non-magical damage, technically the force doesn't come from a magical source, so it's not magical. But usually damage immunity is only immune to
slashing,
bludgeoning, and piercing. So then you can get into so many different fun aspects. But if you cast catapult, it will theoretically go faster. Mm-hmm. Somehow. I think it's like 60 feet faster.
Something like that.
and it becomes a magical attack plus a d6. Like, that matters. If you want to have a lot of fun, Glyph of Warding it and cast Enlarge on the Glyph of Warding.
Having the last person.
So it doubles, it becomes doubled in size and it times 8 the amount of weight. And then if you have more enlarges on it, you could have this become the size of whatever with the same amount
weight
of
increase?
force. Yes, times 8.
Oh.
Yeah, because then we're going back to FMA, force equals mass times acceleration. If you make the mass, here, let's go back to 1 pound times stupid, Mach stupid, equals 1 Mach stupid of damage. You multiply that by 8, now you have 8 Mach stupids of damage. Multiply that by 8, you have a 64 Mach stupid damage. You can get really stupid.
So if you're trying to destroy the planet, this is what you do.
You peasant cannon this. Now, again, most DMs won't allow this. I've allowed it more times than most people I know because
If you're
I
trying
love it.
So if you're trying to keep all the people alive so you can do this more than once,
You don't have that many people.
that. Or instead of putting like something special onto the rock, you put Glyph of Warding
On their
so when they touch the rock, they heal themselves. Or they spare the dying.
Ooh, spare the...
So when
Can you spare the dying
yourself.
oblivion?
So they would be
Can you spare the dying dust?
They would come back to 1 HP.
You can spare the dying dust.
Or they cast is it reanimate?
You have to have something to reanimate, though.
That's true.
Oh, no. The funniest one I've heard. You just remind me of that. You take everyone's pinky toe.
Oh no.
So you can you can do the highest level healing spell where you reanimate the dead from their pinky toe. So everyone lives, but it costs a lot of money. Because I think it takes like a diamond worth 1,500 gold.
Yeah.
That's
if I know a lot of teams who don't really worry about components.
Yeah, that's if they care about components. Yeah, theoretically you could save all their lives. It would take a while and a lot of money.
But there's no really point in saving their lives if you don't have a planet.
Oh, also a peasant can be anything that can move. Like the peasant cannon's theoretically like commoners. You technically do anything that can move the rock.
And it has an intelligence to do so.
Yeah. So my argument is intelligence probably 7 works.
Yeah.
I think that's where I cut the line is 7.
If they can understand speech.
Mm-hmm. Which is
6 and
I think
lower
it's...
can't understand.
Yeah, I know 5 is. 6 is probably right around the line.
I think a wolf has an intelligence of 6.
Yeah. So, and then if they have a arm to do this with.
Yes. So anything from a goblin to a fairy
to an undead.
Yeah. Just get
Imagine a
bunch of
fairies. Oh, no, because they're not 5 feet. Their range wouldn't be 5 feet. They'd be like 2 inches. And their carrying capacity wouldn't be that big. I like the fairy. I'm sorry, I just thought about fairy. Fairy would be hilarious.
And the fairy casts the alarm on itself.
Alright. I guess that's the end. Thank y'all for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.